Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to Operation Freedom Briefings. The goal of these briefings and my weekly radio show, Operation Freedom, is to provide you information the bought-off, lamestream, fake media will not touch and will not provide. You can join us every Sunday from 2 to 5 Eastern. The show is live. It broadcasts from our Freedom Bunker in Wham Talk 1600 studios in Ann Arbor, Michigan. All you have to do is go to davejanda.com, go to the upper right-hand corner, hit listen, 2 to 5 Eastern, and you'll hear great analysis, great guests, information fake media won't touch. We're there every Sunday for you from 2 to 5. We're also available 24/7 here on our YouTube channel, Operation Freedom, and we're also available at davejanda.com 24/7. We have the free side, the public side, where we upload information on a regular basis, and we also have the subscription side. 30 cents a day, about $9 a month. You can sign up for a month, and if you don't like it, get rid of it. But I'm not sure why, because the information in the shows, we do several extra shows every week and bring forward people and information that you're not going to get from the fake media. This week, we have as our special guest in our Insider Insight show, Jean Howe. Jean is a phenomenal photojournalist and writer. He actually was a photojournalist that accompanied Donald Trump, Citizen Trump, if you will, at the very beginning of the 2016 campaign, all the way through the campaign, and still does to this date, now a photojournalist for President Trump. The reason why I believe it's important to watch that interview is because Jean presents an inside look at the man, at who he really is. You know, we have one interpretation of who Donald Trump is from the media. And after you read Jean's book, after you listen to the interview with Jean Howe, I believe you will come to a very different conclusion about who Donald Trump is, as opposed to what the bought-off, lamestream, fake media is trying to push down all of our throats of who he is and what he's about. It's a very insightful interview with Jean Howe and gives you a dimension to President Trump you'll never, ever experience from the fake media. But there's another side to President Trump I want to bring forward, and it's something that has touched our Wham Talk 1600 community. The reason why this platform, Operation Freedom on YouTube, davejanda.com, the Operation Freedom radio show exists is because of two people, Linda Hughes and Tyrone Hughes. Now, they were the individuals who initially asked me to get involved with a radio show. I had given a presentation in the Detroit area a number of years ago. And after the presentation, a very nice woman approached me and introduced herself. And there was a fellow by her side, actually wearing a Hawaiian shirt. It was a little bit different for the venue. And she introduced herself as Linda Hughes and said, have you ever thought about having a radio show? And I told her I had, and I had actually been approached by a number of different entities, but where it always ended was the fact that the one contingency I had about doing a radio show was that I would have to have full editorial control of the guests and of the content. And that always was a deal breaker for whichever radio station had approached me. This woman, Linda Hughes, looked at me and she said, not a deal breaker for me. She goes, my husband and I own Wham Talk 1600. He has a radio show 3 hours every day. In fact, Tyrone X's radio show, and you can stream it. You can go to davejanda.com and stream it right from davejanda.com in the upper right-hand corner. He's on from 3 to 6 Eastern, Monday through Friday. I believe it's the best weekly radio show anywhere in our country. And that includes anyone you're currently listening to. Tyrone will knock it out of the park compared to whoever you're listening to. And she mentioned to me, we'll give you full editorial control and control of your content. I said, oh, really? She said, yeah. I go, well, I'll tell you what. Can you send me that, information and put it in writing? And she goes, let's just do it now. We went to a table. She had this huge purse. She pulled out a tablet of paper. She wrote down exactly, full editorial. She signed it. I signed it. And that was 9 years ago. 9 years ago. And that's how Operation Freedom came into being. Its premiere broadcast was in October of 2010. Linda, all of us who got to know her, loved her. Extremely honest, extremely positive, the most positive person I have ever come in contact with in my life. And very dedicated to the freedom movement. Wham Talk 1600 is the most unique radio station in the entire country because it's independent. And it goes after Republicans, it goes after Democrats. The Republican establishment in Michigan and around the country hate Wham Talk 1600. The Democratic establishment, the deep state, the globalists, they hate Wham Talk 1600. All you have to do is listen to 5 minutes of my show, 5 minutes of Tyrone X's show on Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 when he's on, and you'll understand why. As time passed and we got into 2016, a devastating situation occurred at Wham. Linda was diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer in September 2016. And she was only given 4 months to live. And she continued being the general manager of the radio station. She continued. She had a Saturday morning show that she also produced and would host. But as time went on, she got weaker and weaker. But she didn't buy into the 4 months. Linda passed away in March of 2018. She was a huge supporter of the freedom movement. And she became a huge supporter of Donald Trump. This was not well received by the Ann Arbor community, the People's Republic of Ann Arbor, as you can imagine. But Linda didn't care about that. She cared about the country and the future of the country. Even though all of her physicians told her that her time on the planet was very limited and very tenuous. The one thing she wanted to do that she never accomplished because of her illness was to write to President Trump. Linda passed, as I mentioned, in March of 2018, and Tyrone, her husband, decided to write that letter for Linda to President Trump. This is an email I just got from Tyrone, and then I'll read you the letter he sent to President Trump. Linda wanted to write to President Trump and his wife, Melania, and tell them about her support for them, her support from day one. She also wanted to let them know of her foregoing a difficult chemotherapy protocol that had to be specifically scheduled so she could make it to the polls and vote for the president. She refused to vote absentee. Believe me, I tried. Her doctors tried. What she called her doctor in residence at Wham, me, tried to get her to vote absentee. But nobody ever told Linda Hughes what to do. And that is a huge part of why Tyrone fell in love with her, and in fact, all of us did. Her written letter was not to be. It never got written. I took it upon myself to write it for her. Here's my letter to President Trump and his actual response back to me. I knew it would take him a while to get it, if he got it at all. When I got his response, I took the mail in from the street mailbox and into the garage. I was on my way to do my show. I thought the plain manila envelope was junk mail. The return address, the White House, was covered over with a barcode sticker. I pulled the letter from the envelope and read it. I cried like a baby for half an hour, just stood there frozen, and I cried all the way to the studio having to do my show on that day. President Trump's letter is not a form letter. It's personalized around the text in mind. And his signature bled through the back of the letter on White House stationery. He actually signed it, not stamped or pre-signed stationery. The letters are attached. I hope they move you as much as they do me. I think Linda would approve. Here is the letter that Theron penned to the President of the United States, dated September 27, 2018. My wife, Linda, and I bought and put into operation America First, so to speak, radio station in May of 2011. It is by far the most conservative radio station in Michigan, maybe the entire country, ironically located in the People's Republic of Ann Arbor. Our broadcast mission when we purchased the radio station was and is to save this republic not only politically, but culturally and spiritually as well. When Linda and I saw you come down the escalator at Trump Tower with your lovely wife and announce in one of the most compelling speeches ever that you intended to do the things you talked about for our country, we both knew you were the right man for right now, President Trump. And we knew that we wanted to help and aid you in any way we could. We shifted into let's get this man elected mode. I do a daily 3-hour talk show, and it's pretty much become a rolling campaign ad for you. Your daughter Ivanka and son Eric were on my show on 2 separate occasions, and when they were campaigning here in Michigan for you, they also were in touch. The reason I'm writing you this letter is to tell you that my wife Linda didn't survive to see all the wonderful things you are doing and will do for our country. I want to honor my wife and her legacy, part of which was her advocacy and vote for you. Throughout the last of her years, she was a tireless supporter of you and your agenda. Linda was diagnosed with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer in September 2016. It had thoroughly permeated her liver and the pleural lining of her lungs. She was given 4 months to live. To further make matters worse, she was allergic to the chemotherapy drug treatments tried initially and all others going forward. Through quick work with a team of pharmacists, allergists at Boston Medical Center, and consult with her allergists and oncology doctors at the University of Michigan Cancer Center, she was able to take chemo treatment over 9 hours. The same treatment would take almost anyone else half an hour to an hour at most. This required special scheduling, which we did through September and into December of 2016. There was one scheduled treatment that she insisted be moved and rescheduled. She was adamant about it. It was the treatment scheduled for November 8th, 2016. She said that she could not take that day's treatment because she had to get to the polls and vote for you, President Trump. We stayed up into the next morning praying and watching for your win. We both knew you'd won almost as soon as the polls closed, even though they would not call it. When they finally called the election for you, Linda was overjoyed. We both knew that you were the only hope for this great country of ours. She knew that God had given us one more chance to save this republic and take it back from the brink of globalism and Eurosocialism. And Linda said just that many times on her weekly Saturday afternoon radio show, The American Dream. My wife Linda passed and was taken home March 15, 2018 at 11:32 a.m. I was at her side in our home. My wife Linda was a warrior princess. That's exactly what I call her since she came into my life in 2001. She was a nonstop fighter for America and the freedom and liberty of our country that has brought to this world. Given 4 months to live in 2016 at her initial diagnosis, she made it a year and a half past that date. She, as am I, was constantly frustrated by the Republican Party starting against you at every step of the way, President Trump. She was upbeat, hopeful, and full of inspiration for all that she met and knew her. And she always said she knew that you will prevail in the end. She never lost faith in the Lord ever. Right up to the end, she comforted others with her uplifting face, saying, "Why should I worry? I'm going to look in the face of Christ." Please know that Linda prayed for you daily. She prayed for you, the First Lady, and continued success in your mission. We both took very seriously the need to make America great again, to remember the forgotten man and woman, and to put America first. Please do not let any political pushback, any obstruction from either Democrats or Republicans get you down or get in your way, President Trump. And again, President Trump, Linda and I knew and still know that you are the right man for right now. Thank you, President Trump. Sincerely and with undaunted support, Theron Hughes. Theron got that response. From the President. Dear Theron, thank you for your very touching letter. Melania and I send our deepest condolences on the passing of your wife, Linda. We pray you are comforted by her enduring spirit and memories you shared together. I am heartened to learn that despite facing difficult health challenges, she was determined to make her voice heard at the ballot box and help me get across the finish line. I am forever grateful for the opportunity to serve our nation as president. I am inspired by the deep patriotism people like you and Linda have for our great country. I am convinced that together we will strengthen America and preserve our cherished liberties for generations to come. Sincerely, Donald J. Trump. So one other part to this letter. And I think it says a lot about the man that he would take time to send this personalized letter to Pharaoh. The date. March 15th, 2019. Linda died March 15th, 2018. That's not just a coincidence, folks. A couple things working there, I believe. The president knew Theron was hurting, is hurting. All of us are who knew her, the thousands of people. Those of us in her Wham family. Since Linda passed on March 15, 2018, the date that we all dreaded was the 1-year anniversary. How would Theron handle it? How would we handle it? She made it easy. This is not a coincidence that this letter was dated on the exact date 1 year from her death. Because now all of us will always remember Linda on that date. Fondly. Still sad. But I believe what she and the president did, and it was not an accident that he dated it on March 15th, we will always remember that it was the day that Linda reached back to all of us, to the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, to say, I'm okay. I'm watching out for all of you and the country. That letter that President Trump sent, I believe, states a lot about the man, a lot about his staff. The fact that his staff would get Theron's letter to him. The fact that he would take the time, remember, March 15th. This is when all the deep state pundits, the Brennans of the world, were pontificating that he was going to be indicted. He was going to be let out of the White House in handcuffs, as was his family. It was prior to the Mueller report being released. He had a million things on his plate. Yet the man took the time and the effort to read Theron's letter, to personally respond to it, to sign it, and then to have it dated on the very date that Linda died 1 year before. Many detractors will say that I'm reading too much into the letter. I'm reading too much into the date. I don't think so. And the reason? It corresponds to exactly what Jean Howe, his photojournalist, outlined in our interview about who Donald Trump really is. This letter will never be reported in the bought-off lamestream fake media. The Ann Arbor News, the Ann Arbor Observer, the Detroit Free Press, the Detroit News, ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox for that matter, in Detroit or nationally. will never, ever report on Donald Trump, the man, and who he really is. It has been an honor to be able to bring this letter forward. It is an honor to be associated with such fantastic patriotic Americans as Thayrone and Linda Hughes. It is an honor to have the radio show and a privilege that I do not take lightly, to have the DaveJonda.com platform and this YouTube channel. And it is an honor to have you as a listener and as a subscriber to hopefully this YouTube channel, and hopefully, if you so choose, at least visit the DaveJonda.com website, if not become a subscriber as well. I thank you for your time, and as we sign off every segment, dream big and dare to fail. Frankly, it's exactly what Linda Hughes did every day of her life. Thank you for your time.